Hi, and welcome to the 2020 Economic Recession and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday, August 6, 2020. Today, I want to talk to you about a sobering topic. As we know, the economic collapse is accelerating at a breathtaking pace. And as the economic collapse accelerates in all sectors of the economy, from retail to housing to finance and to daily living, crime is going to be on the rise. So therefore, it is no surprise that crime is on the rise as the collapse is happening. Shootings are going up, carjackings are going up in major cities such as Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Dallas, LA. And because of which, it is important to be able to protect and defend your supplies and your contingencies that you have made, you and your family have made, because it makes no sense to have all of this preparation, supplies, and everything that can be taken away from you by someone with a firearm or someone with a deadly weapon of force, and which you have nothing or no control over. So while I do not condone extreme violence in any fashion or format on this show, or preach to you to use violence in any way to harm anyone, if indeed you should have a home invasion situation, whether on your own property or elsewhere, and if it's within the law and within reason, then you need to be able to protect yourself as best you can, okay? And that means, in many cases, having some brass on hand. You get my drift. Now, the data and the science confirms this. Early research links sickness gun sales surging due to increased shootings in many of these neighborhoods. You don't have to turn on the news every night to see that the shootings, the crime, and the unrest has increased because a lot of people are at home now, either working from home or school kids are at home because they're doing the schoolwork, or just people walking around the street, whether homeless or not, coming from different neighborhoods because they have nothing else to do but to look for a weak person, a weak prey, a weak man or woman who's walking alone or jogging alone and who appears defenseless. Remember, just like animals, humans go for the area of least resistance. Okay? Now, this is an article that came out in July 8, 2020 by Melinda Moyer of TheTrace.com, The Trace magazine. She noted that gun purchases have soared during the sickness pandemic. And a new paper suggests that these additional firearms may be exacerbating violence around the country. Now, from the FBI's National Instant Criminal Background Check System, as you know, you have to go through that when you purchase these type of items. The numbers were up 60% increase from March to May 2020, of course. So during this sickness, we see not only crime going up, but people realizing that they have to defend and protect what is theirs with just the basic level of training. Nothing crazy, nothing illegal, but just the basic level of training and defense. And I encourage that and I support that because we know that as this economy collapses, this is what has come to in America. The Brookings Institute, which is a think tank institute in D.C., notes that 3 million more guns, okay? The spring 2020 spike in those sales. It says, quote, when Americans are concerned about their personal security, they buy firearms. They buy brass. Such concern has been rampant since March, the onset of this pandemic, okay? And the social unrest that followed in the George Floyd result of that also caused more. So now we have 3 million more weapons have been sold since March, and this pattern has continued for the last couple of months now, okay, because of the situation. And let's face it, because people are on a lot of different medications, pharmaceuticals, we don't know what state, when we leave our house in the morning or in the evening, at night, we don't know what state people are in when we say hello to them, or when we are driving in our car and they may get road rage. We just don't know. Remember, the police are a reactionary unit. They come after the crime has been done, after the fact, to investigate. But during that moment that you're in that situation, that conflict, and you're defenseless, or you may not have anything on you, how are you going to protect your supplies? How are you going to protect your family, your household? I think we all know the answer to that, but I'm just giving you examples because this is what we're facing as this collapse continues. We have about 5 months left in this year, or a little less than that, and crime is going to be just absolutely crazy. So much so that the police are going to be overwhelmed, and they're not going to come to your rescue. The cavalry's not coming because they're going to go home to try to protect their own family. So we won't have to worry about those cries from those people out on the streets. I won't name them, who's saying defund the police and all that. We won't have to worry about that because the police are going to be overwhelmed by crime, and not just the blue collar crime. I know most people think it's only in the inner cities. It's going to be in the suburbs. It's going to be in the hinterlands. It's going to be in the rural areas as people search for valuable resources that they need, such as food, which is going to be in short supply, as I've told you in previous videos, okay? That's not going away. This sickness is not going away. These job losses is not going away. We're losing 1 million jobs per week. And we're already at 55 million. That's the official number. But the real number we know of by shadowstatistics.com is that 75 billion people are out of work. Okay? So because of that, it is very important that we have some type of preparation to protect ourselves against crime that's going to be just off the chain in every major city, and maybe in a lot of minor cities too, and suburbs, and in the rural areas too. So get prepared now and get these items while you still can, because there's going to come a point where you're not going to be able to get even these items because of what's happening in this country right now. And we know that is coming very, very soon. The gun companies benefited by receiving millions in PPP loans. That's Paycheck Protection Program loans too. But we don't know soon, pretty soon, maybe even they will start filing for bankruptcy as a result of the economic collapse, the domino effect. Okay. So because of the domino effect, the gun manufacturers are facing an inventory crisis. So even those are in short supply. If you can get one, even the basic of the most basic weapons or handguns are in short supply. So that's why it's imperative that you figure out a strategy for you and your family. If your family is not adverse to that, adverse to weapons and that's okay too. You can always use things such as pepper spray, baseball bats, cameras, ring doorbells, cameras in your house, motion sensor cameras in the house, outside of your house. You can also use dogs, big dogs. Of course, some people have guard dogs. Those are also great deterrents. Whatever you can to make it hard for people to say, hey, I don't want to mess with him or her because they have security in place and I don't feel like fighting with that. I just want to get in and get what I need, food, money, clothes, whatever it is that I need, and get out. And remember, crime and criminals like the path of least resistance. They don't want to have to work hard for anything because they know that means trouble is on the way. So as crime goes out of the way, as this economy goes downhill, crime is going up. Police are not going to be there for us, so we have to kind of like protect ourselves, and we know that that's coming. Many of you know that already, but I'm just reinforcing that. And some other ways that we can think about security is that you want to maintain, obviously, operational security or OPSPEC between your neighbors and your friends, but you also want to have a network of family and friends that you can kind of like trust and be able to communicate what you see in the neighborhood. You know, the TSA has a program, if you see something, what? Say something, right? So it's kind of the same principle when we're in our homes or when we're out and about in the community. If we see something, say something to someone trustworthy, and maybe you guys can partner together, with him or her, and be able to be a deterrent, a kind of a sort of a neighborhood watch type of motif to help to deter crime, because crime is going to be off the chain. But if you're prepared for this and you have the right equipment and the right brass, no one is taking anything from you and their family unless you give it to them voluntarily through a barter exchange in the community. And that's where bartering comes into play. Once that these thugs and other people see that they cannot get from you willingly and forcibly, they may actually have a chance to barter with you, or you may have a chance to barter with trustworthy people. Hey, I'll work for you if you give me some paracord rope, or 20 feet of paracord rope, or I'll work for you if you give me one of your chicken's eggs or something like that. But the barter economy will be back. It won't be the black market economy. It'll be the barter economy as the crime and everything goes off the chain in the main streets. And that's what the U.S. is preparing for by deploying all of these kind of military-like troops out in Portland, Oregon, and all kind of undercover people, because they are preparing for civil unrest on a scale that we have not seen before. Not this fake kind of protest stuff that we've seen, but we're preparing for an economic collapse, civil unrest, like on the scale of Venezuela, but on a bigger scale than Venezuela, because this is going to be something that we have not seen before or dealt before as we transition to this new economy. So get prepared now, have a security plan in place, and keep and stay with it. Don't let anybody deter you from that, because once the security and the brass is gone, it's gone. You can't get in any of these stores or any of these factories, because they're going to stop making it and giving it out to the general public, and everything is going to be siphoned off to you know who, the military and the government and all that stuff that I don't want to get into, but that's what's going to happen. So get prepared, stay prepared, and just realize that these sales are increasing because people realize that crime is going to be a major factor of this collapse. It's already a major factor, but it's just going to be off the chain once this thing finally collapses and hyperinflation takes over and we can't buy anything in these stores with our worthless dollars once that point comes, which is coming very soon, by the way. So stay safe, be blessed, my friends. If you have any questions, let me know. Please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Over and out.